Hi, we're going to explore the new release of Wan2GP version 7.7.3. This project moves so fast that I think we're already on 7.7.4 a day later, but let's just dive in and talk about 7.7.3 because with it we have Qwen image generation and all of WAN 2.2 added to the project. This video is going to assume you already know how to install Wan2GP. If you need help with that, I have a separate video that gets you up and running in a RunPod very quickly using a template, and then a separate walkthrough if you want to go and install step-by-step using the command line. I'll link those in the comments. So let's jump in. First, you can see in the selector that we have many models under WAN 2.1. There's the text-to-video, there's base, there's base cocktail. Then if you select under the menu there, we can go to WAN 2.2. And for that, we have the image to video 14 billion parameters. We have text to video 14 billion, text image to video as 5 billion, and then a base experimental cocktail, which is a set of LoRa's put on top of the 14 billion. We also have Qwen in this, which is an image generator, so we can make our images and then do image to video all in one platform. And we can also see that Flux image generation is also added with a couple different flavors, including Context, which is the one that's very good for editing images. Let's try out Qwen, see what we have in this new version of Wan2GP to generate our Qwen images. The number of inference steps is 30. The developer of Wan2GP sets pretty good defaults, so we're going to start with that. We're going to start with 4 for guidance. This is also the default. We're going to not do any LoRa's to start with or any post-processing, and those are really the options that we're given in this model right now in the UI. So let's add a prompt. We're going to create a Pixar-style image of a blushing polar bear wearing glasses, teaching a class in an igloo. Do not show any of the students. And then on the chalkboard, it should say, Professor Plumley, office hour of Monday, Wednesday, 2 to 4 p.m., bring salmon. Qwen is supposedly very good at including text in the images, so we're going to test out that functionality. Also known for doing well with very long prompts. So you can provide as much detail as you see fit. The first time we click generate, the model will load, so it will be slower on the first generation than on subsequent ones. While it's generating, we will click over to the really quite thorough documentation that's right in the UI under the guides section. You can see that there's a lot of detail on the different models. It hasn't been quite updated to include WAN 2.2 or Qwen yet, but you can see which models do what is good for what, and some recommended use cases. We can also see how to set up LoRa's if you want to have stylized LoRa's or efficiency LoRa's. I accelerated the image generation so that we could see our result, and we see that it is all black. We were using GPU. We're not out of disk space or memory. From the GitHub, it seemed there was an issue with sage attention. So let's go into the configuration setting and set to SDPA. You're going to want to select the SDPA option and make sure to click Apply Changes. And then let's go and test this with fewer inference steps than 30 just to see if it will work. Let's do 3. In the GitHub, the history showed that there was an issue with detecting which machine you were on and whether there was a problem and whether sage attention should be deactivated. So manually just setting it SDPA should solve this. Let's see how it works. And we see that we were able to generate an image, not the greatest image because we only did 3 inference steps. So let's try it again with our full recommended 30 and see how this image turns out. And there we have our image. It's not the best I have ever seen. It does have the writing, Professor Plumley, office hours, Monday, Wednesday, 2 to 4, bring salmon. That should have been a bring salmon exclamation point, if anything. I don't know why the question mark got in there. And we did say don't show the students, and it is showing the students. But it's a decent image, and it is quite good with clear writing. Let's try an anime image. Anime style image of a beautiful woman eating a slice of mushroom pizza. You should see the name of the pizzeria on the sign in the background. So let's test the writing again as Tony's Pizza. And let's see how that comes out. Not bad. That was accelerated. That took 2 minutes and 23 seconds to run. We see mushroom pizza. It's a nice image. We see the Tony's Pizza written. There is some writing on the awning that's a little less clear. And the shape of the pizza on the sign is not perfect. But now let's try a photorealistic image and give it an additional prompt that the woman should look real with freckles to try to get less of a plasticky perfect look. Accelerating that, it took 2 minutes and 22 seconds to create this image. And it's not bad. She looks somewhat realistic. You tell me in the comments what you think. We do see Tony's Pizza written out. There is, again, unknown writing under it. So let's try using this image with WAN 2.2 to create a little video from it. Let's use the 5 billion parameter model. Generally, when switching from one model to another, I'd recommend stopping the container so that you get the old model out of memory. There is some functionality in this project to do that automatically, but I don't think it quite works with all of the models. So it's just easy enough to stop and start, especially when you don't need the model that you were running already. So let's use the text image to video 5 billion. Since we already loaded the Qwen model, hopefully this will work on our machine without having to stop. So let's start our video with our image and write a quick prompt. A woman eats pizza. I believe I saw in the Discord that going below 720p with this model has disappointing results. So let's keep it at 720p. Let's do it 9:16 TikTok size. Let's keep the defaults for 121 frames. Give us a few seconds. And then the 50 inference steps. Again, we're not going to use LoRa's on just this test run. Check out the options we have for post-processing. And the recent versions have added the ability to add audio to your video right here in this tool. We're not going to do that for now. You can always use FFmpeg or any video editor to add sound to our videos later. So let's generate and see what it does. So again, first time it runs, we have to load the model. And we have a timeout error. So let's see what's going on with the machine. Checking the logs, we see we are at high memory usage. We are using our GPU, so we're still generating despite the UI issue. Looks like the UI recovered. It's still generating. We have another error. Let's just log into Jupyter so that we can see when the output is ready and just download it there. There we have it. Not the most realistic looking bite, but maybe the pizza's really bad and that's why she's giving it a kind of unsatisfied look, which is kind of funny. It doesn't look like she's enjoying it, and there's no stringiness to the cheese or anything. It's just kind of a bizarre looking bite. So that is using the smaller WAN 2.2 that's incorporated into Wan2GP. There also is the larger models. I'll do a separate video testing those. They are a little more finicky because they have two diffusers, a high noise and a low noise, and configuring all of that correctly, I think, is taking some tweaking time for people and want to figure out what is the lowest friction way to get great videos. Also some collection of LoRa's that have been coming out to accelerate that we want to play with. But that is a run through of what is new in Wan2GP. The project is moving incredibly fast, and so if there's anything in particular you want to see or questions, let me know in the comments.